one butter, maybe some bread, and then a bit of chicken. And then in 2 days, you need to go again. So when you are doing that, it's little pennies and even sometimes some pounds of difference if you just go with a checklist and say, okay, this is going to be for a week or this is going to be for three days, and I will try to aim to have 6 meals out of it. But you got that checklist, you are less likely also to buy any extra things that sometimes we don't need it. And it's just because we want it, but we don't need it. Like, for example, it might be some chocolates, it might be some snacks, it might be some juices or drinks that sometimes we say, do I really need it right now? Not really, but because it's looking really nice and shining in the supermarket, you just get them. So go with a checking list. A really important thing that is not here as well, make sure that you are going with your own bag, if you can, okay, instead of grabbing the trolleys. Because sometimes the marketing, how it works in the supermarkets, they make you get the big trolley if it's possible, and it will be the first thing that is going to be available in the supermarket to you to buy more things. But if you go with your bag or with a backpack, and you're making sure that you got your checklist and your backpack, you know already that you got a limited space on your backpack that needs to be for the checking list. So you're going to be less likely to get things that is not what you need. All right. So that's the second tip. So first tip, checking list. Second tip, getting your own bag with you to buy the things that you need. And the third one is making sure that you are full. Okay. So that you are having maybe lunch or a snack that is high in protein before doing your grocery shopping. Because the more controlled your society is, it like the more okay you are regards to hunger levels, the easier it is to stick to the checklist. And this happens to me even until now. Every time I go to the supermarket hungry, I will end up buying some protein bars, or I'm going to end up buying something else that sometimes I don't need it, and I will eat it in the right moment. That's what it happens when you go a bit hungry. So make sure that you're having a main meal or a snack that is high in protein before going. So that's going to be the third tip. Now let's move on. Now we're going for the protein savings. So the protein savings, I have been picking up the best protein items for you, but also the cheapest, and also the ones that is going to save you a lot of time. So if we go with them, will be eggs. Okay, so eggs is the cheapest one and is the most complete protein one. So you don't need chicken, you don't need fish, you don't need any of them. As long as you're having eggs, you're having all your proteins sorted. All the amino acids and all the proteins that you require is on the eggs fully. So if you're just having eggs, you go 80 to 90% of your protein nutrients sorted. Then, of course, many people will say, okay, Emmir, if I'm going to the gym or if I want to be healthy, it's better to have chicken breast. That's the myth. Okay, no, because it's the leanest, it's the most lean protein. It's not. It is, but it's not the only way to get your protein, because at the end, what your body identifies is not if it's chicken breast or chicken legs. It's just protein for the body. That's it. Now, based on taste and quality, is not a lot of difference between chicken leg and the chicken breast. Okay, so my recommendation, a kilo of chicken breast is going to cost you in England about 3 to 5 pounds. I would say some more to 4 to 5 pounds about in Tesco or Sainsbury. Okay, then the chicken thighs or the chicken legs will cost you from 150 to 2 pounds. So you're saving about 3 to 2 pounds per box of a kilo of chicken. So it's not a problem at all to you to go for chicken legs or chicken thighs. So that's another recommendation. Then for vegan people or vegetarian people, I will highly recommend to go for beans if it's possible. And then the most healthiest way to you to get beans and legumes, it will be if they are on a can. Because sometimes we are going to find legumes and beans on a pot that is with, that is on a glass. But if they're on a glass, what is happening is that it's entering artificial lights and different type of lights that is taking all the nutrients. So when it's on a can, because it's shadowy inside, it's going to keep all the nutrients there. So all the canned beans that, for example, chickpeas, red beans, kidney beans, and all these sort of beans, is going to be really important to keep them with you and buy as many as you can, because it's just 50 to 35p in Tesco. They are full of protein. They are full of nutrients as well. You can buy them in tomato sauce. You got taco mix options as well, options that is already seasoned. They are not high in salt, so it's really good. And then you can just open the can, put them there. You can add a bit of ketchup, for example, or you can add your favorite sauce. And then you go like naked taco beans, for example. See, or then you can just add the carbs options I will give you in a bit. Then minced beef. You got lean minced beef. You got 5% minced beef. You got 15% minced beef, and even you got 20% minced beef. It's not a lot of difference as long as you are keeping your protein intake. So what I will recommend you got about 2 to 1 pound and 50 of difference of saving between the lean 0% fat minced beef and the 15% fat minced beef. If you go to the 15% fat minced beef, you're going to save between 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds just on the difference. So go for that one if you eat meat. And then if you're not vegetarian and you say, but Emmir, I'm trying to be away from meat, from red meat, I will highly recommend now to double research again, because the latest research in the last 3 months onwards is telling us to encourage our students and people who are like aiming to have more nutrients and more health, more well-being, to go for red meat again, at least 1 to 2 times a week if it's possible. But the only difference is to have them in the morning or in the afternoon, not in the evening, because it's just taking more hours to digest. That's the only thing. But it's really important to have as well red meat nowadays. Yeah, especially for iron levels and vitamin B as well. Now, another option here is protein powder. So protein powder as well depends of the quality and the process, and then I can recommend you many of them, but my favorite one is PhD, or the other one that is I don't remember at the moment very well, but it's mainly for bulking. But the PhD is the cleanest and the cheapest. So 1 scoop, which is about 17 grams of protein, is gonna cost you about 50p. So for 1 pound of 2 scoops, you got equal to having two chicken legs, for example. So it's a really good idea as well sometimes when you don't have the time or you don't want to eat. So protein powders as well is a really good option to just reduce the spending of your protein intake. Then the last option that I'm giving you here, which I usually kind of like, my spending at the moment a month on food is about 150 pounds for mine, and I eat 6 times sometimes. So I eat a lot. I love eating. But as long as I'm keeping on my lane with those options, I will keep that spending. And then people who go restaurants and takeaways, they are spending between 300 to 400 pounds a month on restaurants and food. So it's not expensive to eat healthy. It depends your choices and your options. Okay. Then frozen fish, you got already fillets, and they are separately in individual bags, and you find them in Tesco, in Iceland, in Sainsbury. And usually the deal that they give you is 3 bags of frozen fish fillets for 10 pounds. And you're receiving 12 fillets, and then you can mix and match that in between salmon, you got trout, you got haddock, and you got between 6 to 8 types of fish that you can mix and match from the frozen fish. So that's a really good alternative. And the last one, of course, tuna cans. It's not massive difference between tuna can that is in water from tuna can that is in sunflower oil, for example. It's not massive difference, because at the moment, remember that you're not in a lean competition. Like, for example, I used to do that in the last 2 weeks. I will really consider between how much fat is in between one item and the other one. But at the moment, because we are working in the long term and we are aiming for 15 to 20% body fat in most of you guys, which is kind of like a realistic approach to you to have in the full year, is not massive difference between the natural with the sunflower. And then you will say, but how much am I saving here? You are saving between 30 to 50p per can of tuna. So go for the sunflower, the tuna can in sunflower rather than the natural water. It's not a lot of difference. It's just marketing that they are trying to sell you. But remember, we're just normal human beings that we are just trying to be healthy for the full year, not just for 1 2 weeks. Okay? So that's with protein. Do you have any questions? And Daniel, Adrian, put on the chat box if you got any questions. It's really important for me to know if everything is making sense, if it's something that is not clear, or maybe if it's...
Yeah, it's maybe the surprise between, let's say, the spring water tuna and the oily one. So it's not much difference, you say, which is...
It is not. It is not. And plus, you are saving money. It's the same thing as, for example, the oats from Tesco and the oats from I don't know, like Nestle or any of the fancy ones. Is between 2 to 2 pounds and 50 of difference, and they got the same things. They got the same oats, but it's just the brand. So, or something as well that I want you to write down is making sure that you're buying the Tesco brand, the Sainsbury brand, rather than the most fancy brand. So this is a massive saving as well for you. Okay, so go for the brands that is from the supermarket. I don't know about the protein powder, the name you say. Yes, PhD protein is cool. I can send you the link, or I can put on the group, but it's PhD protein. Okay, and the vegan option is the vegan Belgian chocolate is the yummy one. It's really good, Belgian chocolate. I mean, like most of the guys from the mindset, they love it. So remember, and as well, if you got any questions, put in the chat box if you want to. But here the key, guys.
Do you like my protein? I mean, my protein brand. What do you think about them?
I mean, it's really good, and the prices are really cheap. However, I would just be picky for the taste. And the PhD, I tried them, and it's amazing. So the taste is just the winner, but my protein as well, you can get them. As long as per serving of a scoop of protein powder is between 20 grams to 24 grams, that would be awesome. Because the PhD got 17. For the reason I recommend all the guys that get PhD to get 2 scoops, but it's just because of the taste. If you are new to protein powder, that's the best option for you. See? So I think than
Yeah, I
if
was
you
wondering,
follow a
yeah,
protein.
like if there's any really, let's say, difference in the price or.
It's not about the price. It's just mainly, well, yeah, the price between my protein and the PhD is not a lot. I would say even the PhD is cheaper than my protein.
So this one is the classical my protein stuff with.
How much do you pay for that one?
I think like around 40 pounds and something.
And how many
It's
kilos?
like 2 kilograms, 2.5 kilograms. And this one is like, I mean, obviously the best if you want the more protein. If you want the more protein here in a milligram, you need to grab the unflavored one and you just put the flavor with something sweetener or whatsoever. That's what they used to do years ago. But this one is like the normal one, and you have the vanilla one, chocolate or vanilla. They are the best in the taste, and cookies and cream as well. But anyway, this one is, for example, per 25 grams of a scoop, which is one scoop, 18 grams of protein. The unflavored one, which is the good one, is like 20 or 21 grams.
That's much better, for example, on the my protein.
But it has no taste, so you need to put something on it.
So I mean that would be the guys. Can you check on the group if it's someone else aiming to enter on the group just in case, because otherwise my recording is gonna be messed up. Okie dokie. So we are sorted with protein. Hope those options are helping you a lot and giving you about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 options of how you can save plenty of money with the protein and how you can use them in the best way possible. Now let's go to the next one, which is carbs, fruits, and salad savings. Okay, really important, guys, to you to make sure that you're putting your notes, because every time that you're taking notes, subconsciously, every time now that you're going to go to the supermarket, then automatically you will be doing these type of things, because you are reinforcing your learning. Remember that we learn through listening, through watching things, and also through the touch. Every time that we are writing things down, you are just reinforcing the learning. Okay, anyway, so regards to these ones, I will highly recommend you some weird carbs that potentially you was aiming to find with me now, telling you about rice and pasta and bread, which they are really good, they're really cheap. However, something that we need to reinforce and we need to be really mindful is like the production for bread, rice, and pasta is incredible, crazy. It's a lot. You cannot imagine how much tons of rice, pasta, and bread they produce daily for us. So the production, because it's too much and it's a lot, the nutrients are not going to be the best, because they are not thinking about, okay, I want to give my customers the best products. I just want to make money. And I just want to make sure that I'm getting those tons of rice, pasta, and bread as soon as possible to the supermarkets. Otherwise, I'm losing customers from the supermarket as well, if that makes sense. So they are just rushing things up. Okay, so the quality and the nutrients that you will find there won't be the best. I'm not telling you not to have them, because, for example, Adrian and Daniel, you are from Spain. You grew up with bread, mainly. So I'm not telling you not to have them. However, just trying to add different nutrients as well if it's possible. You can still have bread, for example, at breakfast, and then you can have these options that I'm giving you as well in other areas, because bread is really cheap anyway. But I'm just giving you extra options to you to keep saving money. For example, and you are from Nigeria as well, so you might feel identified with some of the items I'm giving you here. But for example, quinoa is a South American kind of like rice that we use, but it's plenty with amino acids, it's filling you up, and is getting stronger your immune system. How you can do them? You can do a drink, or you can just use them as an alternative for rice or pasta. It's the same way and process, and then you can just play with the flavors. You can put some oregano, you can put some salt, some pepper, and then the good thing about this is that it can last for 2 to 3 weeks more than the rice or the pasta, and also really important that you can eat it cold or warm. And it's super cheap, because remember, everything in this world is by demand. So the more we have, well, in this particular case, it doesn't work like that, but quinoa is really cheap as long as you buy them in the Indian supermarkets or in the African supermarkets, which is like the small shops. So in Tesco, this is going to cost you a bit more. It's going to cost you about 50 to 50p maybe. But if you go for bulky, like for example, buying 1 kilo to 2 kilos of quinoa, that it won't go off never, because it can last years, then it's costing you about £2 and 50. But 2 kilos of them, yeah. So then cassava as well is something that is going to last for longer in your shelf. And the cassava is low in glycemic index, which means that your blood sugars are going to be stable during the day. So you will feel more energized, and then you will be more able to be more productive. Okay, because it's taking longer to becoming glucose, which is mainly the fuel that we need in order to have energy. But sometimes with rice or pasta or bread, it's just going straight away to glucose, and it's going really fast to give you energy. So it's giving you energy for a really short term, but then you feel that drop of energy later in the afternoon or in the middle of the day that you want something really sweet again. Potatoes, baby potatoes are the cheapest option, or the white potatoes, and also potatoes as well. It can last for long. So then you don't need to worry about eating fast your bread because it's going off, because usually the bread in England just lasts for 2 days maximum, I think, the longest. So that's what you can do regards to potatoes. Then corn flour. Corn flour as well is a really important alternative that I can give you, because you can do pancakes in the same time, and you can just mix that with water, and then you can have corn flour pancakes. They are easier to do than the flour ones, and they got more benefits than the white flour. So corn flour as well is a really good option. Plantains as well is an incredible option. You can have them for breakfast, you can have them for lunch, you can put on your soup. You can even have as a snack as well, plantain as a pre-workout. And then you can cook them with the healthy fats that we recommend you. So you don't need to worry about, oh, Emmir, if you are coming from a country that plantain is usual, like for example, I'm not sure about Nigeria, but in South America, we eat a lot of plantains. So usually how we cook plantain is by frying them. And you say, by me, frying things is not really good, right? But with the options I will give you, you will be fine. Perfect. Now let's go for the last one here, which is oats. Oats as well is really cheap. Probably you know them, you use them. But in between oats and muesli, for example, or granola, the price saving is a lot. So you will save between £3 to £3.50 in between going for muesli or granola and the oats. The oats, a kilo of oats in Tesco, as far as I've been buying them, is just 50 to 75p for a kilo. Then granola or muesli is going to cost you £3.50 to £4, even £5. The last one I saw, I said, what the F is happening? Because it's £5. So oats is really cheap. You can put a bit of honey and then it's the same thing. Capito, guys, how you doing so far? Amazing. Cool. Now let's go for the next one, which is how you can save plenty of money with the vegetables and the fruits. But let's come back really quick, because I love when I got questions with you guys, which is the cassava. So Anne is asking here on the chat box about, is the cassava not bad because it's very high in carbs and starch? It is true and not in the same time. And it will depend on how you cook them, and also what is the things that is next to the cassava. So usually the cassava will be really high in starch when you are frying them, for example, with oil. But if I give you the other options, then it will be fine. Or if you are mixing them with rice, for example, or if you're mixing them with potatoes or with plantains. But if you're just keeping on the lane of just having cassava as your carbs, then you will be fine. Because this is usually recommended for if you got diabetes, for example, they will recommend you cassava, yacon, which is a Peruvian roots as well. Yacon is going to be quite hard to find in England, but my point of view here is that if you are staying with cassava, you will be fine. How do you cook cassava? Really simple. It's really hard to peel the cassava, but once it is peeled, then it's magic. You can boil them, you can fry them, as I will teach you how to fry things, and then you will be sorted. And then, because not many people buy them in the Indian markets or African markets, you find them really cheap, because not many people are willing to cook them, because you're right to have in England, I don't know, fries or maybe some a sandwich, because that's where usually it is more usual. Okay. Where to buy it? Yes, Indian and African markets. See, so that's the best ways to go. And they sometimes they is the cheapest way to get fruit and vegetables, because they sell you for £1 a basket of fruit and vegetables, and then you go everything so cheap there, because it's a local market. So maybe what you pay for 5 bananas will cost you maybe £1.50 maybe in Tesco or Sainsbury, but a bowl with 12 to 10 bananas in these local markets, Indian or African markets, it will cost you £1, but you go 2 times more. So you can just go there with your bike or with a car and get whatever you need for a week. Okay. Now, a really important thing, because you will say, okay, I mean, cool that, in the Indian markets, African markets, I can buy really cheap fruits or vegetables, but what about if I cannot eat them really quick and they go off? That's sometimes really annoying. You can just go in the supermarkets as well and get frozen fruit and vegetables. And then you got, I used to buy, if you go to space, of course, 2.5 to 2 kilos of frozen mixed fruits and mixed vegetables, and just have them there. And remember, if it's frozen, never is going to go off, as long as you got electricity, of course. If you don't have electricity, then everything is going to go off in the fridge. But this is my alternative. It's 3 to 4 times cheaper than the fresh fruit from the supermarket. So, for example, for 2 kilos of mixed fruit, vegetables, or fruit, it will cost you about £2 to £1.50. And the fresh fruit, if you compare 2 kilos, it will cost you about £5 to £6. Easy. So these are my recommendations to you, to keep your fresh vegetables and fruits, but also saving money at the same time. I normally, okay, Adrian is saying here, I normally frozen fruit, small berries, room fresh in the veggie shop. Is that bad or is the same property? Good question. Good question. So yeah, here is an important thing, and I got a reel and a video talking about if it's better to have them fresh or if it's better to have them frozen. My recommendation, as we're in my sound, will be to have them frozen. Why? Because when they're doing the production, even when they are cleaning the fruit and picking them up from the the farms and stuff like that, they need to wash them and they need to put extra chemicals to keep them fresh so it can last for long. Because remember, it's not like you buy apples from the supermarket or from the market, your local market, and they're picking them up from their garden, and then it's just taking 2 minutes to put them in the shop. It's a really long way, and sometimes in England, fruit and vegetables are coming from Germany or coming from Spain, for example, the oranges. They go special fridges in those planes that the orange is coming green from Spain, and then in this 24 hours, 12 hours process to get to England, is eatable, is orange in these 12 hours, when it's supposed to take like about 3-4 months to get to the process from green to orange. So that's the thing. So in my case, frozen is going to be best, because usually frozen vegetables and fruit will be by the season of the fruit, and then they're going to frozen to just keep them longer. But of course, you can just mix and match to make it more equal to you. Okay, so perfect. Now let's move on, because we are running out of time. It is the fats savings. One of the savings as well here with this. You will save a lot of money, because we will say, Emmir, but it's really expensive having nuts, having olive oil. It's not worth it. But yes, I will give you different options here now, and they are really cheap. So these are my 5 options. The most expensive one is going to be the chia seeds. However, the chia seeds, if you buy them as well in the Indian or African shops, and you invest a kilo, which is going to cost you maybe 5-7 pounds max, but a kilo is like for three months easy, because what you require is to put in just a teaspoon per day, and that will give you a lot of benefits. Okay, but the chia seeds. So that will be kind of like, and why chia seeds and why not linseed seeds or any other seeds that is around? This is the most complete, because it go omega-3, it go omega-9, and also is anti-inflammatory. And because every time that you are mixing them in some sort of water, is taking off some gel, and a special gel, and that gel also is helping you to clean all the bad bacteria from your gut. So it's really good. Okay, the chia seeds. If it's like if you go just one choice and somebody tell you just go one healthy fat to choose from seeds, which one will you choose? I will go for chia seeds. Okay, then avocado, of course. The best way to get proper soft avocados as well, again, go to your local shop, India shops, African shops. It will be best, cheap as well. You can imagine how cheap you can find the avocados. The supermarket ones at the moment, you can just tell every time I go to the supermarket to get avocados, they are like rocks. You can kill someone with an avocado nowadays. So I would say go to the Indian or the African shop. They are soft. You won't kill anyone. It's safe. It's not considered as a weapon, but the ones from the supermarkets, they are considered as a weapon, I would say, because they can kill someone. But anyway, our killers. I like that one. That's a good one. And then a really cheap alternative as well here is cottage cheese. Really super high in protein. And if you're struggling with sleeping, if you have this as a dinner, it's going to help you to sleep better, because it's relaxing the nervous system. So cottage cheese is a really good helper if you want to kind of like aim to sleep earlier. This is a really good alternative. The cottage cheese to go to bed earlier and to improve any sleep problems. Cottage cheese is the best. Put a bit of honey, put a bit of blueberries, and it's amazing. Or just as you like plain. So it's a really good option. Then coconut oil. Coconut oil as well is a really, really good option. 3 to 4 times cheaper than the olive oil, and is 3 to 4 times at the moment healthier than the olive oil. Well, olive oil is healthier than the corn oil, but because right now it's kind of like on the boom in some way, olive oil. We know if you say what is the best oil, people will say olive oil. So the production has been so overrated that the production is not the best as it used to be, because it's just a high production. You can put on the chat box or just unmute yourself. Anyway.
All right. Have you actually tried or used it for cooking beef? Yes. Or anything?
Yeah, I will use coconut oil, not mainly for frying, and I will give you the alternative that it will surprise you a bit. I will cook them for, like you can cook them, but I won't cook them for something that will go more than 120 degrees. So that will be equal to any frying things. So mainly is not well, you can fry your eggs with coconut oil because it will take 1 minute to fry an egg, but to fry, for example, a piece of meat or chicken, it will take 2 to 3 minutes or even more. So the degrees, it will be really high. But coconut oil, for example, for baking or for doing like some high protein cookies in the microwave or like a pancake is really great. So you can use the coconut oil. Okay, so coconut oil is going to be the best. Of course, be mindful about healthy fats, especially coconut oil, because it's high in calories. So if you're aiming to gain some muscle mass, don't worry about that much the quantity. But if you're in the fat loss journey, just make sure that you're using just a teaspoon. It will do the work. It's going to be more than enough to use them as frying or cooking with them, if that makes sense. Now for frying, my best advice and option that I will give you is butter. And butter has been so the fitness industry in some ways has been so hard in butter, saying like, no, butter is bad, is bad fats, but it's really good. It's one of the best, and it's zero lactose, the butter, even though it contains milk. For the process, the lactose enzymes is disappearing, sense like the cheese. So if you are lactose intolerant, you will have problems if you have milk, but if you have cheese or butter, it's a different process. So you can fry with butter. For example, you can do your plantains with butter. You can fry your chicken or any meat with butter, and it's gonna be normal. It's gonna be fantastic. It's healthy fats purely. So Daniel is asking here, especially when you're separating the water from the grease. I don't remember how they call it in English. Mantequilla, which is butter clarificada, clear butter, yeah? And it tastes so much better and it lasts much longer. Exactly. You can unmute yourself.
So basically, what I'm explaining here, I think they call it quiz, something like that. I don't remember. Anyways, just grabbing butter, right, and you put it in a saucepan, and you heat it up. And when it's everything liquid, you separate the grease from the top, which is just water and a bit of rubbish. You throw the water, let's say, and the rubbish on the superface, and then you put only the grease in another container, and that's how they call it, mantequilla clarificada, and you can use that for cooking, and it will last forever, and it tastes so much better for anything.
You can do a video and you can explain this. That would be really good.
Yeah.
Because that sounds interesting. But so far, just on a nutshell regards to butter, guys, you can use them. It's going to be the best alternative to you to cook something. And just remember that to fry something, you don't need to see like the oil or the butter, like, like all around the pan. It's just making sure that it's just greasing. It's just greasing the pan. It's not to you to shower the pan with butter or with coconut oil. It's just to grease. All right. So that's going to be really, really important. Yes, tutorial by Daniel soon. But yes, guys, so this is it. If you apply what I've been teaching you today, you're going to save about 100 to 150 pounds easy on grocery shopping. You can rewatch this video. Tomorrow is going to be available. I'm going to put up, but literally, this is how I've been saving money and keeping the healthiest possible my grocery shopping. So that's what we're going to do today. Hope you like it. Remember, every Thursday we're bringing guests, or I'm putting myself here, sharing something that is going to be valuable to you. So trying to make it happen in life, because you are more likely to apply if you are in life, because we all busy. Then you say, oh, I watch it later, and then you don't watch it, and then you're saving. Now you know how to save between 100 to 150 pounds in grocery shopping.